Let's take you to Limpopo now, and Premier Stan Mathabatha has passed the buck to the Human Settlements Department as for the building of 40 substandard shacks at a cost of millions of rand. They were unveiled only last week, but the cracks are already beginning to show. My colleague Manqoba Mchunu has the latest from Polokwane for us, and he's standing by to be in conversation with the MEC for Corporate Governance and Human Settlements in Limpopo. It's over to you, Ngoba.
Well, thank you, Tutu. Let's get straight to it. I'm now joined by the MEC for Cox here in the province, Manqoba Mchunu. Let's start here, MEC. The Premier admitting earlier that he did know about the project when he went there on Friday to cut that ribbon. Were you personally aware of the project and the conditions of those structures?
I was aware about the project. It was implemented through our partnership with the National Department and HDA. So it was a project that we're going to open or hand over the temporary residential units to the community of Talan. So the Premier, like he said here, that the MEC briefed him of the temporary nature of the structures that is going to hand over. I did brief the Premier.
So if you're aware, and we look at the situation now, already we're seeing some of the structures being dilapidated, the structural defects. So are you saying that as the provincial government, you satisfied yourself that this is actually value for money for people to move there?
Let me say that the structural defect that we speak about, we have already discussed with the National Department and the HDA that they should be able to look at that so that they can be able to fix whatever it is, because they were the implementing agent. And at the time I briefed the Premier, I was having a written report in my hand that showed that the structures are complete, they are in the nature that they were supposed to be. So I may not say we are happy when we are seeing that some of the things, we want those things to be fixed so that we can be able to see that our people, we are not risking the people's life there where the door is not right or other window is not necessarily perfectly installed. But we are going to commission the National Building Association to look at the structures. We are also going to commission an independent engineer to look at the structural defects which are there and be able to do that.
But surely, MEC, you should have done those checks and balances before the people could move in that place. Why was that not done?
Like I said, and I admitted, that as the MEC, not sleeping on duty, but it will not all the projects that I will be able to go and check like there are no people who are supposed to. Like I was telling you that when I briefed the Premier, I was briefing him on a written report that was compiled by the HDA that was showing that the project was complete. And I didn't have a reason to doubt what they are reporting because they were appointed as the implementing agent. In this case, I take each and every one of us who is occupying government positions or utilizing government resources. We must take due diligence on our specific tasks. It is true, I did not go and see the projects before I took the Premier in that case, but the report that I had was suggesting to me that the structures which were temporary in nature are complete, can be given, and people can access them.
But it's your responsibility to ensure that those residents are moved to safe areas. They are also moved to places that are dignified. But this is not certainly that.
Exactly my point. That's why I'm taking the responsibility. I have engaged the National Department that I will want to get a report for structural defect. But even if personally I went there, I will see a door that is not properly fixed, but I will not know all the materials in my position or capacity as the MEC. But I could have seen some of those if I went there. But the reality is now we are commissioning people from National Department who are expert in that area, that they should be able to look and be able to compile a report and be able to take to us and say, this was supposed to have been done this way.
So would you admit that you somehow failed the people of Talan?
Well, I cannot say we have failed the people of Talan because all the people which we appointed ourselves, that should be able to do that. They have said they have done that, and I was sitting with a report from the HDA, which we appointed as the implementing agent. It is not like when the project managers within the department will be the ones that are implementing like the RDPs that we do on our own. But that specific, you only go there when HDA has completed their projects and say, MEC, we are complete with the task that we are appointed to handle it. There are supervisors from HDA to the contractor that they would have appointed. So it was not my space or my site until it is completed and handed over to us.
And then what happens now, MEC? I mean, these people find themselves in those structures that are dangerous. What happens now? Are there any plans perhaps to fix those structures? What is the plan from your side?
I think we have had the DG taking responsibility on that aspect. And I think I will be holding the DG nationally accountable to that aspect, that they should be able to do that.
Okay. Let me bring in the DG then to speak on this issue. DG, if you can just join me here. This is the DG of HDA, or the HDA official who's here, that is Lucian Rakhwale. Lucian, thank you for your time. Let's start here. I mean, the issue of the houses there's been a lot of backlash on it, and many of them even questioning the price, the 64,000 rand that is paid. Residents are certainly saying it's not worth the price, it's a waste of money. Is it value for money? Did you satisfy yourself that actually these structures that you're building are suitable and they are safe for people to stay?
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon to ETV listeners. The price is actually determined and set by the National Department of Human Settlements. And over and above that, there's norms and standards, including specifications that temporary structures or temporary residential units must meet generally when we implement an emergency housing program. So in other words, I think in simple terms, when we build low-income housing, when we invite contractors to submit proposals, they don't tell us what the price is. We tell them because that price is fixed. So equally or conversely, even in the implementation of the emergency housing program, the structures, the temporary residential units, the price is fixed by quantum determined by the National Department of Human Settlements. So in the evaluation process, when you appoint service providers, what you then look at then becomes the capacity of the service providers to deliver the specific product. But I think we've noted the concerns that have been raised. We got the contractor to go back on site to deal with the snaking, because, I mean, the contractor has just finished the project itself, so it's still within the snagging period. So the contractor has gone on site, and over and above that, we will be bringing in another independent structural engineer to look at structural integrity issues on the structures. And over and above that, as the MEC has indicated, we're going to be bringing in the National Housing the NHPRC to specifically look at the workmanship and also quality issues on the structures, so that we can all be rest assured that the structures are indeed, in fact, fit for human habitat.
But why was that not done prior to the people moving to that place? I mean, we're talking of residents and structures now that have broken doors, and some of them, are of a weak in terms of structure. Why was that not done before the people moved?
I am sure that the workmanship or quality issues, structures that have quality issues, are in fact isolated structures. I don't necessarily think that is all of them, and we are saying we will address that immediately as part of the snaking.
Okay, let's stop it there. That was Lucian Rakhwale, who is from HDA, speaking to us there. Of course, there are many concerns that have been raised about these structures in Talana. The residents themselves not quite happy about them, and they're saying that they believe that this is simply wasteful expenditure, given the fact that proper housing could have been built. But the provincial government saying that this is only phase one, and this is an emergency, a sort of a relief for these residents of Talana, and that more permanent structures will be built for these residents in a later stage. And the deadlines, in fact, we did ask about those deadlines at this stage, not quite clear though.
It remains to be seen indeed. Thank you very much. Manqoba Mchunu out in Limpopo for us.